Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and we have our experts today, Kunal Bothra as well as Gaurang Shah. Good morning, gentlemen. Let's kickstart with the query segment. And the first query is coming in from Manoj Kumar, and he has Redington shares, about 520 shares of Redington, which he's purchased at 152 rupees per share. He wants to know whether it's worth holding. Kunal, what's your take on Redington? Do you think it makes sense for Manoj to continue to hold on to his shares?
So I'll advise to hold on to Redington, even though the stock is getting into a consolidation last 5-6 months. It's been stuck into a price range, but then typically a time-wise correction is always a healthy indication that the stock is getting ready for maybe another move on the upside over the medium to long term. So if time horizon is not an issue, I would definitely advise to hold.
Okay, hi Gaurang, good morning to you. We've got a question coming in from Sunmeet, and he's asking about companies associated with HDFC. So I'm guessing he's talking about HDFC, HDFC Bank and HDFC AMC. Would you suggest that these are all buys?
I would add one more, Alex. Morning to all of you all. We have buy coverage on HDFC Limited, HDFC Bank, HDFC AMC and HDFC Life. And if you just look at the pedigree also and the wealth that has been created by these companies for long-term investors, barring of course HDFC Life, we believe that it's a great opportunity for investors to use this correction that we have witnessed of more than 10% on Sensex and Nifty and stock specific maybe more, to use this correction as an opportunity to either buy afresh or add if you have already invested in the stocks.
Raja wants to know, Kunal, that whether he can buy Udaipur Cement at a current market price for the longer term. Do you track Udaipur Cement? Does it make sense for him to enter at this juncture?
Oh, Cheryl, I don't track Udaipur Cement, but then the chart patterns for the stock, I think if I'm not wrong, it's at 35 or 36 odd rupees for itself. It's quite an okay chart. It's come back to its 200-day moving average. The mean reversion has also happened for Udaipur Cement. And I think if I'm not wrong, for majority of the cement stocks, large cap ones like Ultratech Cement, etc., these stocks have also come back to their mean support points for themselves. So I think Udaipur Cement looks attractive. But then I think in terms of a level to average, I would expect that if the stock, say, comes closer to 33.5 or 34, that could be a better level to average further.
Okay, we've got another question. This is from Sudha, I believe, and she's asking about a couple of stocks. I think she's holding on to Greaves Cotton and Dilip Bilkon, and whether, I don't know her buy price, Kunal, but she's asking whether to sell and buy Vodafone Idea at the current juncture.
You should be looking to hold on to your existing investments on Greaves Cotton, etc. But I think Vodafone Idea is more of a volatile bet because the stock is in the thick of news flow. Now, majority of the price rally for Vodafone Idea has already happened in the last, I think, 6 months from 4.5 or 5 rupees, if I'm not wrong. Where the stock was start of 2021 or mid of 2021. From there, the stock has already moved up towards 14.5 to 15. There is likelihood that the stock may go up, may go on an uptrend, but the volatility would be very, very high for these kind of names. So I would suggest that you already have good counters like Greaves Cotton, etc. But I would suggest that not to make a switch purely by selling these stocks. You should look to hold on your existing investments over here.
All right, this one is for you, Gaurang, and this one is from Chaitanya, and he's saying that he has GNFC, Deepak Nitrite, Meg Money Fine Chem, as well as Tata Chem in his portfolios. He wants to limit from 4 chemical companies. He wants to bring them down to 2 companies. So he wants to know which of these 2 should he hold in his portfolio for the longer term.
So out of the 4, Cheryl, I would restrict my comments to Tata Chemicals given the fact that we have a coverage. And if the investor is willing to make a change, since he wants to hold only 2, my sense it is better to hold best performing stocks in this sector, given the fact that you have tailwind of China Plus One policy and specialty and agrochemicals have shown their performance and now it is in the sideways zone. But the future looks quite strong as far as earning visibility is concerned. So hold Tata Chemicals. And if I have to recommend one more stock which is under our coverage, then it would be either Pidilite or UPL. Maybe if he wants, he can make a switch.
Okay, we've got a question from Lakshman Sodagam who is asking about Poonawalla FinCorp. This one's for you, Kunal. He's already acquired this at levels of 217. He's got 500 shares and he wants to hold for 3 years. What advice would you give him? What levels should he watch out for?
Well, I think this has been a fantastic quarter for the stock. I remember tracking it just about a few weeks back when the stock had broken past above its lifetime highs or lifetime resistance point. The volumes have been pretty much high for this counter. The volumes, in fact, for this last 3 months have been extremely high, and the stock, of course, have gained momentum on the back of new volumes which have come back into this name. So purely on the volumes and the price breakout potential, I sense that there could be substantial upside for the stock going forward. Support wise, I think 175, 180, which was the previous support. I think few days back the stock had tested this zone. That should be a crucial support over the short to medium term. And if you're looking to average it out further, try to do that between this kind of a band, 175 to 180.
Right. This one is for you, Gaurang. This one is from Sukanya, who's a senior citizen, wants to know whether she can buy Indiabulls Dual Estate and Canara Bank at current price for the longer term. Either of them, what's your view?
Well, on Indiabulls, first of all, we had a coverage and we've dropped it because of the news flow a long time back, Cheryl. And if you want to look at housing finance companies that I was just talking to Alex, HDFC Limited looks to be the best placed big boy in this sector, and history is also witness to it, and we have seen value being created for long-term investors. And if you are a retired person, you need to be a little bit careful what you're buying in the stock market, because stock market is all about high risk, high return. Amongst the public sector banks, my advice would be to look at State Bank of India. That's where we have a coverage. So HDFC Limited and State Bank of India would be the preferred choice.
Okay. Kunal, I'll come back to you. ABB India is the name of the counter. We've got Tushar who's asking whether he can buy it at the current level for the long term.
Stable kind of a stock, ABB, I think at current levels of 2,300, 350 odd looks attractive. If you're a longer term investor, then definitely yes. Keep I would say a near term target range closer to 2,500, 2,550. But I think if you can hold it for say another couple of years, then I believe on the upside there is possibility of the stock even coming towards those 3,000 levels. It's a stock which is on a very strong long-term uptrend. The higher the time frame which you can hold on, the higher is the possibility of returns on the upside for such kind of names.
This one is from Saileja Kunal, and she wants to know whether she can buy Vardhaman Cements and Grindwell Norton at current market price for the shorter term. Either of them, can she go ahead and buy them at current market price?
One cement I don't track that closely, but I think Grindwell Norton is something which looks attractive from a long-term play. The only catch with these kind of names is that it's extremely illiquid. At times, the volumes for these stocks is just about some 40-50,000. Today, for example, the volumes for Grindwell is around 13,000, 14,000. So it's a very illiquid counter. But when you look at the longer-term charts for the stock over the last, I think, 4-5 years, the stock has been a phenomenal, wealth creator from being a stock which was at 300 to 400 levels 3-4 years back. Now the stock is at 1,700 plus kind of a zone. So it's been a long-term, play. If you are okay with holding such kind of names for the next couple of years, then I believe it makes good sense to chip into these kind of stocks.
All right, Divya's got a question for you, Gaurang, and she's building a portfolio. She's wondering whether Whirlpool of India and Crompton Greaves Consumer are stocks that she can add to her portfolio for the medium to long term.
So if you're looking at consumer durable, yes, Whirlpool is something that we definitely cover, Alex, and our sense is that demand for consumer durable stroke white good appliances is only going to go up given the fact that we are setting in the new normal. And along with that, I would possibly request to look at either Havells India, Blue Star or Voltas. These stocks would be the preferred choice in the consumer durable goods universe from a long-term point of view.
Gaurang, this one is from you and this one is from Sagar, and he wants a fundamental view on new age tech IPOs. Unsure if you cover them, Paytm, Nykaa. He wants to ask you if you feel the valuations are reasonable or justified for these companies, especially the current market price. He's saying if not, then why are MF houses invested in these companies in large numbers? Do you track Paytm, Nykaa? Do you think the valuations are justified? Do you think it's worth entering at current levels?
One of the reasons why we did not cover Paytm and Nykaa is because one of the reasons is, of course, valuation. We felt that valuations were a little bit far too stretched. And the problem with new age technology IPOs or the unicorns or the startups, whatever you want to call it, is the methodology. And there are different methodology to value these companies. There is no one set of rules which you can possibly use. Unfortunately, we don't have coverage on these companies, so I can't comment. As far as mutual funds buying into it, well, I would leave it to the wisdom and fine sense of judgment of the fund manager in whichever fund they have bought it. But we don't cover these two stocks.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And in case you're wondering, on an ongoing basis, we do speak to these fund managers. So hopefully at some point, I'll get to ask one of them and you'll get your answer. But the next question is from Sitaram Ganesh, who's writing in from Chennai. He's holding 96 shares, Kunal, of Laurus Labs at an average price of 577. And he's wondering whether to hold for another few months. What would you say?
Well, I think it's a very, very short-term kind of a query. Then you can look to hold. Then, the last 2 months when the stock is getting into a downward drift, there is a consolidation also which is happening for Laurus Labs, and this consolidation somehow takes the stock closer to its 200-day moving average, where the momentum dissipates for the stock. So if there is another retest of this 200-day moving average for Laurus Lab, that could probably take the stock back towards 550, 555 over the very near term. So possibly over the next 1 or 2 months, there is a chance that the stock may come back towards 550. In that anticipation, I would suggest a hold.
KR Balan, and this one also is for you, Kunal. He has 300 shares of Aurobindo Pharma, which he's purchased at 875 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should go ahead and shift to Divi's or Dr. Reddy's or LIC Housing Finance, which is at its 52-week low.
See, I think it's a very interesting. If you can hold on to Aurobindo Pharma, I would suggest to hold on, and possibly if you have additional funds, maybe look to average it out further. But I think from the other set of large cap names on the pharma pack, even Dr. Reddy to me looks very, very attractive. In fact, I had covered the stock almost a week back when the stock was hitting its 52-week fresh lows on the short-term charts, expecting that there could be a more revival and a false breakdown for Dr. Reddy. So there is a higher possibility that the stock may get into a revival mode. My sense is that over the next maybe couple of months, over the next 3 to 6 months, the stock may even come back towards 5,000, 5,500 range, which has been a big range, for the stock over the medium-term chart. So purely sticking to pharma names, I would suggest you can look to average Aurobindo Pharma, and if possible, add Dr. Reddy to your list.
Okay. Gaurang, this is an interesting question because I guess based on valuations, these are already arguably quite pricey. But Akshay from Bengaluru wants to know between DMart or Avenue Supermarts and Titan, which is the better growth stock for the long term?
So both are different, Alex. One is into retailing, that is Avenue Supermart and DMart, and Titan, as we all know, caters to the niche segment, gems and jewelry, wristwatches, eyewear, and accessories. I don't know whether it would be prudent on my part to compare both, because both have different business model and cater to different sector of category of people or customers. We are positive on Titan as well as DMart. Is DMart on correction because given the rise in the share price, it's very close to where we had possibly targeted. So if you want to buy at current levels, I think Titan would be a preferred choice. Both recommendations, of course, are from a long-term point of view.
With that, let's kickstart with our rapid fire, and this one is for you, Kunal. Purna has bought KPR Mills about 255 shares at the rate of around 378 rupees per share. Wants to know, can she hold or sell?
Well, if not in the need of funds, then definitely hold.
Okay, Z Entertainment bought by Vijay at levels of 320. I understand that it's a relatively short-term question. Kunal, this one's for you. Should he hold or sell?
Hold on to the investments and look out for target range closer to 425, 450 over the medium to long term.
Alright, Shivam has bought HDFC Life at an average price of 648 rupees per share. What should he do with his stock currently, Gaurang?
Well, hold on, and if you get an opportunity at lower levels, I don't know whether it will go down to 600 or thereabouts, but if you get another set of correction and stock goes to there, you can definitely average and hold from a long term.
Gaurang, in terms of sector allocation, Aarti wants to know, should she shift out of mid-cap IT and move towards the larger cap names right now?
Well, Alex, our balance is equally between mid-cap and large-cap IT. I don't know what are the stocks because we have a select list of mid-cap and large-cap IT. So if our investments are in those stocks, I would advise her to continue to hold mid-cap IT. Names like Mindtree, Coforge, Persistent Systems, Cyient Limited. These are some of the names that we cover in mid-cap IT. And of course, large-cap, we have coverage on almost all large-cap companies.
This one is coming from Ajay. He has DV's Labs, which he's purchased at 4,405 rupees per share. He wants to know what should he do. He can hold on to it for the next 3 months. What can he expect, Kunal?
So I think it's a good level where you've bought your DV slab just closer to its 200-day moving average. The stock seems to be ending its correction. Would suggest a hold. Targets over the next 3 months, 47.50 is what you can eye on the stock.
Alright, on that note, we come to the end of the rapid fire as well as the query segment. Thank you, Kunal, as well as Gaurang for joining us on the show and also talking especially about the liquor stock. That was our theme for the BNS and Lens today, as well as resolving the viewer queries. And on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now, but stay tuned, more on the other side, so don't go anywhere.